This is going to be my quick review on Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I just finished this and loved it. Basically, it's about a boy named Harry Potter who finds out that he is a wizard, and he basically goes to this wizard school and goes on this little mission of his. Really, really awesome. Love it. The characters, love it. So, I read this twice now. I'm actually rereading the entire series. I still have 6 books to read, which I'm very excited for because the next 3 in the series that I have to read are some of my favorites. I literally love them. So, basically, characters are awesome. Great characterization. The build-up to Harry being a wizard is quite interesting. I wouldn't say that it's amazing, but it's good. Getting to Hogwarts was just so great. Like I said, this is my second time reading this. I picked up on so many little bits and pieces of foreshadowing, which is basically when something is hinted at, or something is hinted at, later in, not later, earlier, in a series or in a book. So I picked up on bits and pieces of that. For example, I believe in one of the chapters where he's with the Dursleys, he says that, he could see, Dudley being a pig, or, Dudley was, a pig in his eyes or something, because he's, heavyweight and he's a jerk, and I was like, oh, wait a second, doesn't he get, turned into a pig or get a pigtail or something? Lo and behold, he got a pigtail, and I was like, ooh, awesome, great, I guessed it, amazing. And then there was also this part where, Snape, no, wait, there's this part, I don't even remember, to be honest, was it Snape? Yeah, Snape got torn up by wait, no, not Snape, Quirrell. Quirrell got himself torn up, mentally, because he ran into Voldemort when he was doing something, right? And so he was wearing a turban, and he was always, shaking, he was nervous. So it's like, oh, wait, this has to be foreshadowing for when, he, you know, it turns out that he's, connected with Voldemort to the point where, the wizards are genuinely scared of Voldemort, which means that Quirrell has to be scared of him as well, and that's why he's always shaking and stuttering and nervous, because Voldemort, since he's a part of him, Voldemort doesn't have the power of love. Harry has the power of love. So Quirrell knew that when he touched Harry, or Harry touched him, he would burn, he would start to die, because Harry had that power of love, and Voldemort didn't, which would then transfer, Voldemort's power of not having love to Quirrell, which would then, in turn, make it to where Harry's power of love overpowered, him, and that would burn him, and it was really interesting, but something that I don't understand, when he shakes Harry's hand in the leaky cauldron, why did he not get burned? Or did he get burned and just, not react? Or something? It was really weird. But I loved that. Then there's the entire thing with Hermione and Ron and Harry, all, hating each other for, the first half of the book, which was quite funny at some point. The part where Malfoy finds out that Harry has a broomstick, so, he gets mad or whatever, and Harry basically tells him, well, if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't have this, and, him and Ron are talking about it, and Hermione comes up behind them and says, so I suppose you think that's a reward for breaking rules. And then, so basically, she wasn't speaking to her, to Harry and Ron. So Harry says, I thought you weren't speaking to us. And Ron says, yes, don't stop now, said Ron. It's doing us so much good. It was hilarious. That made me laugh for a while. I laughed a lot in this one, which doesn't happen a lot. I remember chuckling in the first book a lot, and I was reading this one, and I laughed a lot, which doesn't happen in the later books for me. In book 4, 5, 6, and 7, so the last, 4 books in the series, I didn't laugh once because of how serious it was, and I didn't really pick up on any comic relief because I was focused on all the dark that was happening, because that was a lot of dark. So, yeah, that's literally something that I will hold on to in my mind. I'm gonna try to look for, chuckling moments, and in the last few books, in The Half-Blood Prince, which is book 6, I only chuckled once, and it wasn't even, laughing out loud. It was when, I don't remember what, I don't remember what, chapter it was in, or what page it was on, but this is a 650-something page book, I believe. Yeah, 650 pages. And I only chuckled once. And that's out of the last, 2,000 pages, 3,000 pages of the last 4 books. And that was when, basically, Hermione sees Ron making out with Lavender and gets jealous because Hermione likes Ron, and basically goes to cry on the steps, and Harry comes out to check if she's okay, and then Ron comes out with Lavender going to a separate classroom to make out in privately, and sees Hermione, and she summons these birds and basically tells them to attack Ron, and so he's over here getting pecked by a bunch of different birds while Hermione is talking to Harry, and it's hilarious. But that's the only bit of the last 4 books that I really laughed at, unless you're really early on into the 4th book, chapter 3. I think it was when, or whichever chapter, no. Ron shouting through the phone, was that in 2 or was that in 3? I can't remember. It was either in 2 or 3, but Ron basically starts, shouting in the phone. And I found that so hilarious, and I still do. If I can find it. I can't remember which one it was in. Was it in this one? I think it might have been in this one. I can't remember which one it is in. Is it in 3? I can't remember, but in one of the books, Ron is, shouting through the phone at Mr. Dursley, and it's oh my god, that's hilarious. He's like, Harry, can you hear me? Hello? How do I use this? And he's, screaming into it, and it's literally hilarious. This one didn't really make me chuckle, or part of it made me chuckle, was when Harry's I've never seen so many stamps on one envelope, because, he gets, an invitation to the Quidditch World Cup, and there's, so many stamps on one envelope, and he's like, I've never seen somebody put so many stamps on the envelope, and it's just those little things that make me chuckle to myself. In book 3, when he blows up his aunt into, the balloon lady, it was hilarious. I love it. I think the book that I chuckled in the least, though, was definitely the last book, The Deathly Hallows, just because of how sad it was. I don't think anybody got any laughs out of this. I mean, the first 4 chapters, and, 2 people already died, so, Not the best start to a book, but it's okay. And I only chuckled in The Order of the Phoenix once, I think. And that's 800 and something pages. But I only chuckled in chapter 1 when Dudley was getting, when Dudley almost died to the Dementors. Because I absolutely hate Dudley. Like, I hate how he treats Harry. And then also, again, when Dolores Umbridge got carried away by the Dementors and they traumatized her. That was hilarious. I loved that. And also when we met Luna. Luna makes me laugh so much. I love her. I do love Sirius Black too, but I mean, like, I feel like towards the end of book 3 is when it really started getting dark, or like towards the end of book 4 is when it really got dark, and then the rest of it was just like, oh yeah, here's just darkness, 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 you know? But overall, I think I give the first book 4 stars. I laughed a lot and I loved it. I think, what time is it? It is 10:54. I think I'm gonna go hop into the Chamber of Secrets, which is book 2. It's 341 pages. So I'm gonna go jump into this. I give the first book 4 stars. I'll review this one when it comes time to, and yeah. See you guys in the next one. Bye!